Last year was another slow year, but it ended with some positive trends pointing to a better 2025. I'm Tony with Clarkson Santoro, and this is our real estate update for the week of Friday, January 31st. We know that selling or buying a home can be very stressful and confusing. That's why we do these weekly videos, so you can know how the market is impacting your options as a home seller or buyer. We usually do a review of the market for the week and then look at the indicators that help us plan for where the market might be heading. But for the first update of the year, I like to take a look at back at the past year and compare it to the market history. As we reviewed the major trends this past year, three things stood out. The total sales volume was down, home values improved, and there are clear and obvious trends that give us hope for a better 2025. When we look at the total sales volume each year for the last quarter century, it's clear that the past 2 years are anomalous. No year before 2023 saw fewer than 500 homes, 2001 being the one closest to getting to that 200 or 500 number. The average is really around 725. Comparing that to the last 2 years, in 2023, only 363 homes sold, and in 2024, which is the 2023 is less than half of the average, and in 2024, we barely broke 400 homes, just landing at 407 total sales, which is still only 55% of the annual average that we usually see in San Ramon. There are a few reasons that are clearly causing this decrease in market activity, but we'll get to that after we discuss the second trend. Even though the total sales volume remained down last year, home values started to improve. We typically track value using a 30-day rolling average, but it's still nice and helpful to look at an annual average trends to get the big picture every now and again. 2022 was the highest that the annual average sales price has ever been, reaching over $2 million. That was after 2 years of unheard of appreciation. That was followed by the largest decrease in year-over-year value in 2023, falling more than $150,000 for the average annual sales price. Even with that steep drop-off in value, the average was still noticeably higher than it was in 2021, which, here we are, 2023, still noticeably higher than we were in 2021. Which just shows how significant the appreciation was in 2022. All that being said, this year home values rebounded close to 2022 values. We ended the year with the average sales price being just $50,000 less than the 2022 average sales price. Finally, the third trend that we noticed was that there are specific things giving us hope that this year will be even better than last year. I think it will help to look at the factors that were holding the market back last year. The two biggest factors were interest rates and taxes. Interest rates stayed around 6.5% to 7% all of last year and most of the year before that as well. Which is in stark contrast to the record lows that we saw starting in the middle of 21 and going through the middle of 2020, going through the middle of 2022. These new high interest rates, coupled with the tax implications of selling a home that was purchased before the equity boom of 2021, means that homeowners essentially now have golden handcuffs keeping them locked into their great San Ramon homes that are worth a lot more than they bought them for. While this might sound like more information to temper expectations for 2025, let me explain why I think this points to the opposite direction. there's an enormous amount of back inventory here in San Ramon now. We basically have a year's worth of homes that haven't sold in the past 2 years. I think we will start to see the dam break a little as homeowners are either aging out of their current homes or just itching to get on the move again. Remember, we didn't have that steep drop off. The average home in San Ramon changes possession once about every 15 years or so. And that has been true for basically this whole quarter century. At the rate we've seen homes sell in the past 2 years, that average is up around 40 years with how few homes are selling now. That lack of housing turnover just isn't sustainable. Added to that fact is the homes have continued to increase in value. We are starting this year with a 30-day rolling average sales price of over $2 million. More than $300,000 over the 30-day rolling average at the same time last year, which is back here. The market hasn't started to take off yet. The market hasn't started to take off yet, but as we head into February, that's usually when we see the market really start to improve. We'll talk more about that next week though. Thanks for joining me on this annual recap. I hope it helps you understand how our market is impacting your options. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so that you can stay informed on how the market is starting to shape up this year. And if you have any questions about how you can navigate the stressful and confusing process of selling or buying a home, leave a comment down below or reach out to us directly. We're here to help guide you every step of the way. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you next week with a new update.